All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting. They're #1 in Pittsburgh for a reason. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. They not only do roofs, they do siding, they do gutters, they do windows, they do anything you need inside and outside of your home. So give them a call, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Give us a call right now on the Borders hotline, 412-575-2600 is the number. Before we take any phone calls, Bill Fralick passed away at the age of 56 today. He died at his home in Atlanta. That's where he's living now, former All-American at Penn Hills and at Pitt. One of the best offensive linemen maybe to ever play in college. His number was retired his last game, so that just goes to show you what kind of guy this was, what kind of football player he was. But I would say he was a better person off the field. He paid for Penn Hills' entire trip to go to Hershey. Football team and staff also gave them a lot of money to build the Bill Fralick Center, which is an indoor football complex at Penn Hills High School. I've met him a bunch of times. I interviewed him a couple years ago. He just was a really good guy.
Absolutely. One of the best guys, that I've met in this business. And I think the big thing about him is big heart.
Yeah.
Really just a generous person that really never forgot where he came from. I mean, he's a Penn Hills and Pitt guy, through and through. Even though he played for the Falcons and has lived in Atlanta pretty much, since he graduated from college. I mean, this is a guy that he's never forgotten Penn Hills and never forgotten Pitt. So it's a sad day. For sure, obviously he battled, I think, cancer for a long,
rare
long
form
time.
of cancer.
A long time. So, he finally, it's like as Jimbo Covert said, he's finally at peace and in a better place.
Yeah, he wasn't doing well here the last couple weeks. He couldn't go to the Whitfield Championship game. He wasn't able to go to the state championship game in Hershey. Penn Hills asked a lot of us that went to Penn Hills High School, that have been a part of the community, to make a video tribute or video for the Penn Hills football team, and he wasn't able to do so. But he wrote something that they put on that video. It's sad. It is sad. He was a good guy. He was only 56 years old, that's the worst part about it. But all right, let's go out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Harry out in Elizabeth. What's up, Harry?
Yeah, how you doing?
Thanks for calling.
Okay, I just want to say about Bill Fralick. You think when Pitt goes to the bowl game, you think they'll honor him by putting number 79 on their helmets?
You know what, Harry? I wouldn't be surprised if they did something to honor him in that game. And Penn Hills is having a parade tomorrow. I wonder if they'll do anything in that community to honor Fralick.
Well, they should.
Yeah, they definitely should.
I think if you look at what Pitt has done historically, it won't shock me if they put like a number 79 decal on their helmets. Something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been around a team or a school that retired a guy's number his last game? Have you ever seen that? No. I've never seen that. I mean, his number was retired in his last game. So, he was the guy. That's where they came up with the pancake block, right?
Yeah.
So
he was also one of the first guys to sort of blow the whistle on steroids.
Okay, was he?
Yeah, he was one of the first guys that actually went and testified before like Congress or whatever about steroid and performance-enhancing drugs, and he was pushing for testing, and he was considered basically one of the guys that was honest about the whole thing, and you know what I'm saying? He's heralded for his his forthrightness and the fact that he fought against that.
Jeff Hathorne was telling me today that he talked to Jackie Sherrill and had him on the show, and he told a story about when Bill Fralick was caddying at Alcoma Country Club, and he was 14 years old, and Jackie says, "Where do you play football in college?" He was like, "I'm 14. I have to go to practice at Penn Hills High School." I mean, this guy was 200 pounds when he was 11 years old.
Yeah.
When he could probably, didn't a couple coaches say that he might have been able to make the jump from NFL to the professionals?
He was one of those guys. He was just and here was the thing. A lot of times you see these NFL guys, these linemen and whatever, 6 months after they retire, they mysteriously lose 100 pounds and they're all skinny and everything else like that. He was still huge.
He was.
I mean, I always used to get a kick out of the fact that when he was on, because he traveled with Pitt, he was a broadcaster, so we would go on the road trips, and you'd see him in the lobby or whatever, and you would see Pitt's linemen. and it was like, that's what
you're supposed to look
this
like.
guy, yeah, that's what their tackles used to look like. And he was like hulking, just, huge compared to the guys that, you know what I mean? That's how you know it was natural. You know what I mean? He just was a big, big dude, man.
Yeah, good guy. All right, back out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Jerry out in Hempfield. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Rich, Paul. Yep. Hey, Paul, I just got done listening to your talk show on the radio, and a lot of your callers, the majority of them saying that the Steelers are going to win this pretty easy because their defense is going to shut them down. Well, I'll tell you what, after that Miami loss, Bill Belichick is fit to be tied. He's going to have his team fine-tuned when he comes into Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you what, I think they're just going to just have an easy time, and they're going to win by 10 points plus. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to handle this. He knows how to shut their wide receivers down. He got a plan for them, and the Pittsburgh fans are going to be very upset when they lose this game.
46-8 after losing. That's what Belichick is.
Yeah, but again, I
see where you're right. This is one of those games where the Steelers.
I just don't know that this is a Patriots team. You know, that this is a team to me that looks like it's sort of winding down. Finally, the Patriots dynasty or whatever is starting to wind down.
But isn't there something to say about how dominant they've been and how they've had the Steelers' number over the year?
It's funny.
That's a confidence builder.
What's his name? Louis Riddick.
Yeah.
The former Pitt guy that's on, what is he, the NFL Network?
He's on one of those, ESPN.
Yeah. I mean, he was talking about the fact that the Steelers' biggest problem against the Patriots is that their defense is so simplistic in between the numbers that Tom Brady just abuses them.
And we've seen that.
And so he was saying it's a bad matchup for the Steelers, and that, you know what, he thinks that the Patriots are going to win because he's like, it's just a horrible matchup. Here's my thing. I think that the Steelers are going to we'll pick at the end, but I think that that Ben Roethlisberger and the offense is going to have success against that defense.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to take a break. We're going to take more phone calls and some tweets coming up next. Also give our predictions for the game later in the show. Back in a couple minutes.